Skybar has had quite a couple of nights here for the Padres, including a home run in Game 2 of the series. Looking good right now, 2 for 6 in the last 2 games. Giancarlo Stanton is here as well, in for Miami in the first of 3. He loves Petco Park as well. 292 average, 5 home runs for Giancarlo. He can really swing it. It's the Padres and the Miami Marlins in the first of 3. A weekend series, and the Padres will try to keep it going. Welcome inside the broadcast booth, everybody. I'm Don Orsillo along with Mark Grant. Welcome to Padres baseball. Well, the Padres playing good baseball right now, taking 2 of their last 3, and kind of leading the way is a guy who's got an 11-game hitting streak coming into tonight's action in Wil Myers.
I think the ceiling is much higher for Wil Myers. We've seen what he can do. He's an all-star. He's got power, foul pole to foul pole. He can draw a walk. Sure, he's going to strike out once in a while, but when he wears out right center field, remember the way Jack Clark used to wear it out? Remember Dale Murphy back in the day? That's when Wil Myers is staying behind the baseball and driving it to the big part of the diamond. He leads Major League Baseball with 25 hits, and they're not just hits. They are big hits. He's an all-star. Look for the perennial all-star. Oh, yeah, I said it. He's going to be a perennial all-star, Wil Myers.
We have talked a great deal about the outfield for this Marlins team, and Marcell Ozuna off to a tremendous start for the Fish.
Another 26-year-old. He leads MLB with 19 runs batted in, hitting .307, 23 home runs last year. But you know what? He's in a little bit of a slump. Facing the M's, the Seattle Mariners, 1 for 12 in that series. Big key in this series for the Padre pitching staff is to keep him very quiet in this series against the Marlins.
The Padres will try to keep it going. They took 2 out of 3, and tonight they send the San Diego boy, Trevor Cahill, to the hill to make his first start here as a Padre at Petco Park. He'll do it against the Marlins when we come back right after this. The Subaru. By Petco, your complete pet store with all the services you need. By Papa John's Pizza. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's, proud partner of the San Diego Padres. and by Evans Tire and Service Centers, home of the buy two, get two. As we get ready for game one of this three-game series, we send it down to Michelle Margot, her first game of the year. Michelle?
Yes, thank you so much, Don. So San Diego native Trevor Cahill making his Petco Park debut as a Padre tonight. Grew up just a little up the way in Vista, California. We asked him what it's going to be like starting in front of his hometown crowd.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to have a lot more family and friends here than I did in Atlanta, but yeah, it should be exciting, and hopefully I'll get to see them after, and hopefully it goes well. And I'm running late because I threw 9 innings.
Cahill told me he likes pitching here. He mentioned the great weather, and Andy Green said he's very optimistic on what Trevor Cahill might bring to this club in the future. When we come back, Trevor Cahill on the bump for the Padres against the lefty Adam Conley as the Padres look to match the Marlins. Stay with us.
By your always sunny San Diego Honda dealers. 70 degrees. We get this game started tonight. Northwest breeze at 7 miles per hour, and the forecast is fair right now. Not a cloud in the sky as the sun has set off to the left, and the Padres in their browns tonight. Don Orsillo, Mark Grant, and Michelle Margot with you from Petco Park in San Diego. And the Padres playing some good baseball right now and trying to keep it going here as they're about to take the field behind their starter tonight, Trevor Cahill. And here come the Padres. Trevor Cahill, San Diego native, chance to start here in San Diego as a member of the Padres for the first time.
And Don, with the way the Padres are playing baseball lately, you win the series against the Diamondbacks, you want to get right back out there and keep that momentum going, especially here at Petco Park for the Friars.
And they'd very much like to keep it going as far as the starting pitching goes as well. Well, Don Mattingly, the manager of the Miami Marlins coming into this series, second season as the Marlins manager. 79 and 82 in his year plus with the Marlins, and checking out his own lineup right now, so we'll check it out as well. D. Gordon leading it off and at second base for the Marlins. Martin Prado is at third base batting second. Christian Yelich off to a good start. In center field bats third with Giancarlo Stanton in right field. Justin Bohr at first base. Marcell Ozuna in left field. JT Realmuto off to a terrific start. .354 batting average so far for the catcher. Danny Echeverria at shortstop bats eighth. And Adam Conley, the lefty starter, going tonight for the Marlins. He'll bat out of the 9 spot. Always fun to watch Giancarlo Stanton. Of course, on the mound tonight for the Padres is Trevor Cahill.
making his third start, and quite frankly, he has thrown the ball extremely well his first 2 starts. Just a couple of pitches that got in the way his last time out. Quality sinker and the breaking stuff. More curveballs, more sliders last time out, working down in the zone. And you know what? If he stays healthy through this rotation, there's a chance he could strike out close to 200 hitters this year. He's got that strikeout stuff.
Well, defensively behind him, the Padres defense brought to you by Lincoln. Left to right of the outfield, it is Travis Jankowski in left, Manuel Margot in center. Up to Renfroe in right field. Third to first, Ryan Schimpf, Eric Ibar, Yangervis Solarte, and Will Myers, with Austin Hedges doing the catching for Trevor Cahill. So D. Gordon about to lead it off here for the Miami Marlins. They've actually been in town for a couple of days now. They had yesterday off, had a day game on Wednesday, so a couple of nights here, and now they're ready to play again. And here for the weekend, the 3-game series against the Padres. So Gordon standing in to lead it off, and the first pitch of the ball game is a strike over the outside corner. And Gordon coming in, hitting at .313 atop the Marlins order. No homers and 4 runs batted in. On the ground, sharply hit, but to his right is Solarte, and D. Gordon is out number 1 of the game.
Well, you want to throw that first strike to put the hitter on the defensive. You want that first out to set that groove and get out of that first inning scoreless, so your guys can get on the board first.
One down for Martin Prado. Boy, have the starters been so good the last 2 nights.
They're executing the pitching plan, going after these hitters, knowing how to throw strikes in certain situations, exposing the weaknesses of the opposing hitters. A nice job against the Diamondbacks.
One down, and Prado will take strike 1. A .375 start for Prado. Getting the start at third base. Last 7 games, he's even been hotter at .481 in the last 7 games. Down the right field line, making its way foul, and that will indeed end up in the seats.
And what pitcher doesn't work ahead 0-2 and like it? That was a 2-seam fastball that Prado was behind. It's a 94. Trevor Cahill can touch mid-90s on that sinker and the 4-seamer.
Prado just rejoining the Marlins, coming off the DL. He spent some time in the minor leagues rehabbing, reinstated on Monday this past week, and asked for time from home plate umpire Scott Berry, and he gets it. .02, and that'll be low and away. Playing for him to go the other way in the outfield, and pitching him away the last couple as well, and it evens a count at 2-2.
Well, you make a good point, Don, because left center field there's a big gap. Right here you've got Manuel Margot right here, so if they pitch him away, right, that's where he's going to spray the ball, and that's where they're playing defensively in the air.
Way again, and it's a full count now. Cahill looking for his first win in a Padres uniform, coming in at 0-2. His third start as Christian Yelich waits on deck for the Marlins. And foul back to the screen, pretty good rip. Ball 4. Pretty good at bat there by Prado. He works a walk with 1 out. Let's take a look at the keys to the game, brought to you by your San Diego Honda dealers.
Well, the first key is regarding the long ball. No home run derby for Stanton. Remember, he won the home run derby here last year for the All-Star game, so keep him in the yard. And quality start plus for Cahill. Quality start, 6 innings, 3 runs or fewer. Maybe go deeper than 6, 7 possibly. And Don, just to mention what you said, the way the starting pitching has been going, he wants to follow suit what those other starters have been doing lately.
Can be contagious, and Andy Green hoping that's the case. Down the first baseline, Cahill's got to hurry, and his throw is in time. The play by Myers had to kind of look around the runner in Christian Yelich to find that baseball. And that is out number 2 of the inning. Prado will take second base. Yeah, it was quite a show here, the home run derby at Petco Park last year. It was because of this guy.
I was impressed. I was lucky enough to be out in center field at the San Diego Beach and watching Giancarlo Stanton show his stuff. My goodness, he hit one of the lower corners of the scoreboard in one of his home runs. A lot of oohs and ahs. A lot of fun for everybody in attendance last year. And he took home the trophy.
Now the Padres hoping that'll be the last time they see that kind of show. Certainly not here in this series. 4 home runs so far for Stanton. None of them are cheapies, though. I mean,
no.
When they go, they really go.
The ones that are, and I'm not even going to call it cheap, the ones that he hits on the line drive that don't go as far, but still it is scalded. The way he hits the ball, his exit velocity is just off the charts.
What do you think of his launch angle? Pretty good.
It's fun to watch.
Now Prado with that walking lead at second base. A couple looks at him by Cahill, and he delivers a strike, evens the count at 1-1.
Yeah, that's one of those strikes that really doesn't get called that often. It's the one up and away to righties and up and away to lefties, but that is a legitimate strike.
Stanton will hit it on the ground towards short. Ibar races in. Throw in time, and that's the inning for Cahill. Works his way around to walk. The Padres are coming up in the bottom of the first. On Fox Sports San Diego. Well, it is Manuel Margot leading it off here for the Padres in the bottom of the first inning. Cahill through the first, and now Adam Conley dealing here with the Padres as Conley getting his 4th appearance, 3rd start of the year for Miami. Got the good Sox going tonight. Tall, lanky lefty, and this is down the right field line, and that's going to get down. Back to the Petco porch, heading for second base and beyond is Margot. A little stumble around second. He will get to 3rd without a problem. Well, that's some speed right there from Manuel Margot. He's flying around the bases.
It was fun to watch. As soon as that ball was hit to right field, there was no way that Stanton was going to get there. And I just focused on Manuel around the bases. He knows it's going to be 2. And when Stanton got this ball in, he missed the first cutoff man. That's where, oh, there's the stumble. Picking up Glenn Hoffman for the triple. One of the most exciting plays in baseball. Way to start it off for Manuel Margot.
90 feet away right out of the gate, and here is Eric Ibar. Swing it away, lifts a fly ball to right field. Stanton is back there waiting, makes the catch. Here comes Margot. The throw, not even close. Padres will take a 1-0 lead. Sac fly for Eric Ibar. Right back at it again tonight on top 1-0.
Nothing more frustrating from a pitcher than we've thrown 4 pitches and you're already down 1-0.
Fast work for the Padres. A fast guy, Margot, getting there. The Padres lineup is brought to you by Toyota tonight. We have seen Margot and Ibar out of the gate. And now Will Myers riding an 11-game hitting streak coming into tonight's action. He'll take strike 1. This kind of spins away.
Conley works quickly.
Yes, he does.
He gets that rock and gets right up on that pitcher's plate and ready to go.
11-game hitting streak, the longest active streak right now in the majors. And Myers taking a hack. Now down on the count, 1-2. He's 8 multi-hit games. He's hit safely in 15 of the last 17 to go along with that 11-game hitting streak. 3rd longest streak of his career. Gets a hit tonight, it would equal his longest hitting streak of his career, which would be 12 games. .429 during the streak. And a pitch high makes it a full count.
That's a good eye there, because a lot of power hitters, especially big kids like Will Myers, they like that high fastball up around the chin. That's really hard to lay off. So it's good recognition by Will there.
And here is Solarte waiting on deck. Myers will take the walk and head down to first base. Let's check out the Padres starting 9 tonight. Again brought to you by Toyota. Margot in center field with Ibar at shortstop. Will Myers at first base. Yangervis Solarte at second base. Austin Hedges does the catching. Ryan Schimpf at third. Hunter Renfroe in right, with Travis Jankowski in left and Trevor Cahill, the pitcher, batting out of the 9 spot. And here is Solarte. And he'll take strike 1. It's been taken all the way.
A lot of knees and elbows coming at you with Conley out there. He's got the baggy britches working.
Going the other way, Solarte, and that's going to get in for a base hit. Myers headed for third, so is the throw, and Myers goes in standing. First and third with 1 out of the inning and a run already in. Base hit for Solarte.
Stayed back enough on the changeup from Conley to just spank it the opposite way. There's the changeup, well off the plate. But see that Padres on his chest? Right across Padres. Easy for him just to get extended and flare it out there. Well, first and third action never hurt anybody.
So at the corners with 1 down, and before Hedges comes up, let's check out the scouting report on Adam Conley.
Oh, we just saw the changeup. He also threw the slider, four-seamer, curveball, and he pitches into lefties very nicely. He is not afraid. A lot of lefties away, away, away. Maybe they'll show inside once in a while. He's not afraid to pump it in there against the left-handed hitters.
Well, from Redmond, Washington. Listed at 6'3". Appears to be a little taller. Here's a liner to short, caught by Echeverria at shortstop, and everybody back to their respective bases. Well, defensively behind Conley in this game tonight, it's Marcell Ozuna in left field, Christian Yelich in center, Giancarlo Stanton in right, Martin Prado at third base with Adeiny Echeverria just made that catch at short. D. Gordon at second, Justin Bohr at first, and JT Realmuto does the catching for Adam Conley. There is Ryan Schimpf. 3 home runs this year. 2 have been off lefties and dealing with a lefty tonight. 17th game of the year for Ryan Schimpf. And he'll take ball 1. Very selective, and that has led to all the walks that Ryan Schimpf has put together. (15 walks, most in the majors. Swings here and lifts a little pop-up left side. And Prado, third baseman, steps in front of Echeverria to make the catch that ends the inning. Padres get a run. Manuel Margot with a triple. Ends up coming around to score the sac fly. It's 1-0 Padres. As we move along to the second inning, and it'll be Justin Bohr, Marcell Ozuna, and JT Realmuto. Face Trevor Cahill's got a lead with which to work on, top 1-0. Padres into a shift on the right side. Bohr taking a hack and fouling it off to the left out of play.
I think he had Hack in mind walking into the box. That pitch was up and away. You know, some hitters will do that. They've got it in their mind, no matter where it's going to be, I'm going to go to Hacken.
Bohr with a hit in his last 3 games. He struggled though. 167 the batting average on the year coming in, and under into the shift on the right side. Schimpf from third base moving to the right side, throws him out. Well, our Ram Trucks tools of the trade focuses on Marcell Ozuna.
You know, we talk about hot zones. Look at the hot zone. We split the strike zone in half. These are home runs off the bat of Ozuna. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's one that's left, but he still gets extended. The bottom line is the majority of the home runs, he likes to spin on the baseball, middle, in. If you get it in, you better get it way in to try to tie him up. But he is looking, he is hunting that fastball or that breaking ball. If it's left middle in, he is going to crush it.
One down here in the second inning, and here is Ozuna.
And how do you counter that? That nice 2-seam fastball by Trevor Cahill ahead for strike 1. Now he likes the ball down and in. Look at that, 417 down the heart of the plate. Was that 600 middle in?
Yes.
Wow.
That's pretty good. So I would stay away from going middle in on Ozuna.
Mm-hmm. And usually, I remember I learned a long time ago, and I learned very quickly at the big league level.
In the air to deep left field. High, deep, and gone. That is a blast up into that second deck. And Marcell Ozuna has hit his 6th home run of the year with one swing of the bat, has tied the game 1-1. Well, he cleaned that out.
Yes, he did. Looked like a 1-1 breaking ball out of the hand. See the rotation, looks like a curveball. And on contact, that one from that camera angle looks like it kind of split the heart of the plate, speeding up his bat. You know, last half of the season last year, the numbers really dipped for Ozuna, but he is swinging the bat extremely well here in 2017 early.
So 1 down and the game tied 1-1. JT Realmuto will take strike 1 from Cahill. We're going to bounce back here. 354 start for Realmuto. 2 homers, 7 runs batted in. He's hit safely in 8 of 9 starts here in San Diego. That's sitting at Petco Park. A lot of the Marlins do. A lot of good numbers for the Marlins here. Goes the other way with this and will drop it into right field for a base hit. He's kind of served it out there to right. Back-to-back base hits here now for the Marlins.
Remember last half inning for the Padres, the changeup? That was a changeup off the plate. Almost the same off the bat of Yan Solarte for the Padres. Realmuto just flaring it out there to right field.
1 out, 1 on, and Adeiny Echeverria coming up now, the shortstop. 200, no homers, and a run batted in for Echeverria. Left oblique strain and was taken off the DL yesterday. Called from his rehab, so the Marlins getting some guys back. Martin Prado and Adeiny Echeverria both coming back this week for Don Mattingly.
Yeah, Rojas playing some shortstop in the meantime, and they really like Rojas too. But Echeverria is their main shortstop. One thing about Rojas is that they can use him all over the infield, and every team likes to have a player like that. As we see Austin Hedges, he's already blocked about good 3 or 4 in the dirt nicely.
Well, they're playing for him to go the other way. Margot, the center fielder, into right center. Padres at double play depth in the infield with 1 down. Realmuto at first base. They'll check on him. He gets back to the bag. Myers holding him on. Runner goes, swung on, fly ball, hit pretty well to right field. Renfroe with room will go back to make the catch shy of the track and then fires to first, and it gets away. Well, Renfroe's got that great arm. Thought he might have had a chance there. He had Realmuto trying to steal on that fly ball to right field. Then he had to scamper back with now 2 down.
Well, the 1-1 count, as we take a look, you always have to be aware of the strong arm of Hunter Renfroe. Whether that was a hit and run or a run and hit. Looked like he definitely tried to inside out that baseball to go the opposite way on the 1-1 count.
So with 2 outs, Adam Connolly, the pitcher, batting out of the 9th spot. Realmuto appeared to be surprised that Renfroe was going to try to nab him at first base, but he's got that kind of arm. 3rd season for Conley, a 159 major league hitter.
You know what hitters also keep in the back of their mind? And I'm sure it's in the scouting reports and the meetings. If you hit a sharply hit baseball to right field on a 1-hop to Hunter Renfroe, you better be on your horse, because there's a good chance he could throw you out at first.
Not afraid to try it either. Okay, he'll jumping ahead here, 1-2.
I was watching the Diamondbacks series, and there was somebody, I can't remember, maybe it was Pollock. He hit one to right field, and he actually ran through the bag, because usually when you hit one to the outfield, you'll take the big turn. He actually ran through the bag like it was a ground ball to short, because you never know if Hunter Renfroe is going to come up throwing.
Conley, very defensive swing, fouling it off the screen. Okay, he'll still looking for his first win in a Padres uniform. Lost at Los Angeles and at Atlanta. Last time out, 5 2/3, 4 runs. Struck out 8 through 85 pitches in that outing.
He had both 3 pitches. 2-seamer, slider, curveball working.
Check to see if he went. Quinn Walcott, third base umpire, said he did not. So deuces are wild on the scoreboard in left. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 down. Swing and a miss, elevated the fastball at 92 and got him. First strikeout for Cahill, but a run for the Marlins ties the game 1-1. On. The end of the bottom of the second inning back at Petco Park in San Diego. The Marlins and Padres are tied up 1-1. And it'll be the bottom third of the Padres order coming up. Renfroe, Jankowski, and Cahill scheduled to bat. Marine Layer making its way in here to Petco Park on this Friday night game. And first of 3 with the Miami Marlins. Their only visit of the year here. And Padres coming off a series in which they took 2 out of 3 from the Diamondbacks. So Renfroe leading it off here for the Padres. 15 first inning pitches for Adam Conley. Strike 1 to Renfroe.
Big arm span, long arm span from Conley. And he gets that angle from the left side.
He kind of steps to the left side.
Yeah.
It's almost like he's working on the pitcher's plate, as you would say, in the middle somewhere.
He throws across his body. You're absolutely right. He'll actually move around. Not a lot of pitchers can do that. They're set on one way. Third base, first base, middle. Here he elects to go from the center.
Part of it is he appears to have big feet, too.
You see those shoes he's got?
So it takes up a lot of the
those got to be
rubber.
15s.
Yeah. One-two on the ground and by Conley to the backhand goes D. The throw is going to be late. Renfroe is going to beat it out, an infield hit. And a good start to the bottom of the second inning.
Hit it in the right spot. Hunter Renfroe did. Just out of the reach of Conley. They've got him playing to pull a little bit. D. Gordon, no way he's going to get Hunter Renfroe getting down the line.
So lead runner on for the Padres, second straight inning. First inning, that runner was Margot, and he scored. See what happens to Renfroe here as Travis Jankowski stands in. Jankowski has reached base safely in 10 of his 15 games that he's played in. A tremendous spring, hitting at .328 during the spring.
Well, this is one of those pitchers, I mentioned it earlier, as a left-handed hitter, you're going to really have to react in. He pitches in well to left-handers. He'll go away, so you got to be short, quick to the baseball.
On the ground and into right field, a base hit for Jankowski. Renfroe stop at second as Stanton took a look and hits the cutoff man. First two have reached here for San Diego in the second inning.
Hey, get him over, get him in. As Travis goes out and gets that 83-mile-an-hour. It's like a little spinner. Little slider. Hooks it. Got out in front and hooked that ball. Renfroe, okay, let it go. Okay, he'll take the turn. There's no way he's going to go to third on Stanton. See if Cahill can get the bunt down.
Cahill 0 for 3 at the plate so far this year and already squaring. They're coming in from the corners. And he couldn't get it down. Fouled it off. Ninth major league season for Trevor Cahill.
Try a butcher boy here, maybe show bunt and then pull back.
That would surprise Prado and Bohr, both charging in. And he gets the bunt down instead. Realmuto is one play, it's at first, and the sacrifice is complete. Cahill able to get it down. It goes 2 to 4. Renfroe goes to third. Jankowski to second with one away.
He dented that ball perfectly after the foul ball being in the hole 0-1. Bat is out there. Let the ball greet the bat, meet the bat, catch that baseball with that lumber. And then as soon as that ball goes towards the ground, the runners are off. Nicely done by Trevor Cahill. Dented perfectly.
So second and third with one out and a chance here for Margot to do some more damage. Tripled his first time up. He jumps on that first pitch aggressively and fouls it back to the screen.
I like that swing. Swing like that, you better make sure your shoes are tied on tightly. Come out of your shoes on that one.
Foul back again. 0-2.
Now 2 strikes as a base runner. That's why the secondary lead is so important. If Conley elects to throw a breaking ball here, maybe it's in the dirt. Hey, that's a free run.
Margot, it's a one hopper to second. Gordon looks the runner back at third and then throws out Margot. So 2 down. Runners do not advance. And it'll bring up Eric Ibar. Padres stranding a couple in the first inning. Leaving Myers at third, Solarte at first. They don't want to have it happen again here. It's up to Eric Ibar. Supplied the Padres with their run in the first inning and a sac fly to right field.
Just saw in the background of that shot there with Ibar at the plate, Perry Hill, the first base coach, he was indicating to the right side of the infield, particularly Justin Bohr, watch for the push bunt. Who's on that top step of the dugout? Hey, bring it in a little bit just in case for that push bunt. He was swinging away that first pitch.
Ibar twisting away from that, up and in at 90.
Conley's going to be about 91 tops, maybe 92. It's all about location, though.
Third start, fourth appearance of the year for Conley. Second round pick in 2011, 26-year-old. Popped up, foul ground. We'll see. Prado heading over as far as you can, but he won't have a play. Ibar's had a couple of very good nights for the Padres. course, the home run to right field, the only run of the game here on Wednesday night. And then last night in the finale of the series, coming up big again.
Talk about using the whole field. Left side, right field line, left field line. Stay hot, Eric Aybar.
He moves up into the order here, batting second now. And a full count to Aybar. First base is open. And you got Will Myers waiting on deck. Conley would prefer to take care of business right here. Aybar hits it on the ground to third. Prado's got it. And that will end the inning. The Padres strand a pair. We've played two, tied at 1. Presents Padres Baseball, brought to you by GMC. Beautiful night in San Diego. Sounds like it's going to be a warm weekend here in San Diego for the series.
Very warm. The thermometer, the mercury was touching 92 out in East County today. Getting very hot.
Well, heating up as the Padres and Marlins play a 3-game series. And there's the top of the Marlins order, D. Gordon. So second time through here for Trevor Cahill. Gordon grounded out at second base. First time up 0 for 1. Prado and Yelich to follow. Anybody gets on, and we'll see Giancarlo Stanton. He punched at it. Trying to bunt his way on. Certainly grabbed the attention of Ryan Schimpf charging in from third base, but no contact, and it's 0-2.
You know, you have to like this Marlins lineup, the way they put it together. And you could see within the last handful of years the way that this franchise was going to go.
Inside out swing, and it's fouled off, and for the first time in 2017 they were at full strength. I mentioned Prado coming off the hamstring injury and Echeverria coming off the left oblique injury. Next time Mattingly happy. Marlins off to an 8-7 start. 2 games back of the Nationals in the early going. The National League East.
I know I'm not alone when I say I really like that Christian Yelich kid. He reminds me, and he's going to be better than the guy I'm going to mention. Remember Von Hayes?
Sure.
Doesn't he kind of remind you of him?
This one fouled off, and it gets Hedges. He had a couple get him last night, and it's like this one on the leg.
Oh.
Ooh, knee.
Yeah, even though you've got that shin guard on, that hurts.
He was banged up last night. Of course, had the collision. Navarro, the signing looking in here. The trainer is keeping an eye on Hedges. In the air to right center field. Margot going back. So is Renfroe, and Margot makes the catch. Headed back to the warning track, and a 396 marker.
Communication is so key, especially when the ball leaks over to the gaps. We got a lot of speed out there in the outfield, and Manuel Margot will call off Hunter Renfroe for the grab. Sometimes it can get dicey out there. You get the crowd involved.
One out, and it brings up Martin Prado. Strike over the inside corner. Prado will walk in the first inning. Only walk allowed by Trevor Cahill so far tonight. Good pitch, kind of running away.
I think Trevor Cahill does so well. He'll dice and slice that plate on both sides. Two-seamer into righties, slider curveball away. Trying to go up the ladder there.
And a good first, 3 ground ball outset. Another ground ball out in the second. Didn't allow the home run to Marcell Ozuna. The only run the Marlins have. And pitch in the dirt. Third start of the year for Cahill. Ozuna tying the game up with that home run in the second inning. His 6th of the year. Breaking ball, and nicely framed by Hedges, but was a ball.
Yeah, when a pitcher misses location and you don't throw it where you're supposed to. Watch on this slider here as Austin catches and then turns it in. Tries to bring it in, tries to sell it.
On the ground to third base, Ryan Schimpf. It's a throw, but Myers will apply the tag. Came off the bag and slapped the tag on Prado. 2 outs here in the third inning. And it's time now for tonight's Cold Hard Facts, brought to you by Clean Crisp Coors Light. The Padres not allowing a lot of runs. Most games allowing 0 or 1 run. The Padres 5, tied with the Astros and Twins. The Royals have more. It's amazing.
That's what good starting pitching will do. And then the bullpen, of course, for the Padres. Hopefully Trevor Cahill and the Padres continue that trend. Now that's a cold hard fact.
Christian Yelich will take the strike. Yelich, who saw the bulk of his time last year in the left field, really getting acclimated to center field. He likes the road. In the dirt, and it's 1-2. National League Silver Slugger Award last year. Career highs of home runs with 21, RBIs with 98. Late swing, and he strikes out Cahill. Strikes out Yelich, has a 1-2-3 third. Game tied 1-1.
Bryce Harper and the Nationals step up to the plate against the New York Mets, followed by the Cardinals versus the Brewers. It's a perfect day to watch baseball, and it all starts tomorrow at 1 p.m. on FS1. And we understand that our own Mark Sweeney is going to be doing that Redbirds-Brewers game.
Yeah, he was traveling out today.
Yeah.
Get ready for that game tomorrow.
So have some fun at the old ball yard for Mark Sweeney.
Will Myers leading it off here in the bottom of the third inning. They're coming in with that 11-game hitting streak. First time up, walked. Does not have a hit yet tonight. And big hack there evens the count at 1-1. There's Solarte and Hedges. 3, 4, and 5 for San Diego. To center field. Yelich coming in to make the catch. Looked like it was going to fall, but Yelich got a good jump and makes the catch for out number 1.
I thought it had enough topspin to when it was going to dip down and find some grass out there to keep the streak going. But a good at-bat for Will Myers. Hitting it hard, but remember, Marlins got a good outfield out there, and Christian Yelich, as you mentioned, Don, got a good beat on that one.
So 1 down, and now 4 in a row retired by Conley. And here's Yangervis Solarte. Single to right field to drive in a run. Swing and a miss on a pitch down and in. To Hopper to the first baseman Bohr, and he kind of threw it behind Conley. Nice play though by Conley. Had to reach back. That throw was behind him.
Yep. It's like a quarterback leading a receiver across the middle, and Bohr kind of hung him out to dry. As we mentioned, a big kid, Conley, the wingspan. You can hear him yelling, "Get over there," because Bohr is out of the play. Now he's got to fire. Wait a second. Lead me a little better there. And he completes the play.
Fairness to Bohr, he was over to the second base side at first quite a ways. Play made, nicely done by Conley. 2 down, and Austin Hedges coming up. Hedges lined out to the shortstop, Echeverria in the first inning, 0 for 1. He's been hot the last 7 games since he got his first hit of the year out of the way. Been very comfortable at the plate ever since.
Not pressing. The hits will follow.
Popped up. Down from first comes Bohr. He's calling and catching out number 3. A 1-2-3 third inning for Conley. A 1-1 ball game from Petco Park in San Diego. We head to the top half of the 4th inning, and it is terrific to have with us Tony Gwynn Jr., who's going to be with us this season. And of course, part of the pre and post already. Now joining us in the game. Guy had a very good career. We get some shots of the career.
Yeah, they found some good clips of me out there, huh?
I think that one's going. It did. It's out of there.
Yeah. I like facing Bronson. He was good hitting for me.
Your dad always used to say that. Oh, it's so funny. I'd approach your dad before a game and I'd say, "Hey T, you got so-and-so pitching tonight." And he'd go, "Hey Mud, don't say it on the air, but he's good hitting."
Sounds a lot like my pops.
Yeah. Good to see you.
Good to see you guys too. Good to be back with you guys.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun during spring training. Of course, you joined us down there, and you've been doing some radio as well, and now the pre and the post. And how are you enjoying it so far?
I'm loving it. I mean, I'm having a blast. I mean, getting to watch the team you grew up, rooting for. Shoot, I was a part of this family from the very beginning. So to be back in the many hats that I'm wearing right now, it's been really fun.
You've done a great job so far. I had the chance to work with Tony during spring training, and it was great both on TV and radio. And looking forward to having you here as Justin Bohr stands in and takes a strike over the outside corner.
Tony, it looks like Trevor Cahill is following suit as he starts his 4th inning of work of the starters recently.
He is. I mean, tough acts to follow in Chacin and Richards after yesterday's performance. But look, I mean, he's pitched well each of the 2 times he's been out. He just had like one bad inning in each of those, and he ended up on the wrong side. But today he's picked up where he left off.
Stumble there at the end of that delivery. In the landing spot.
His stuff is darting all over the place. I mean, the last half inning when he struck, the last inning when he struck out Yelich, was a 2-seamer that, I mean, really had some serious tilt to it. And that last slider we just saw was a nasty pitch as well.
He's pitching back at home in front of his family. That can be nerve-wracking at times. He seems to be handling it pretty well so far, though.
I was just going to ask you about that. I mean, how hard is it? It's a little bit of added stress, I would think.
It is. The first year for me, especially, it was it took some getting used to.
And that is a strikeout of Bohr in the 3rd K for Cahill of the night. Time for our Arco top-tier player profile. Coming into today, most RBIs, Marcell Ozuna, 19. Pretty good list to be on, and he has added to that with a home run in the 2nd inning. Now has 20 RBIs on the season. Now you think about it, you got friends and family and everybody coming out to see you, and you can't really get away from them.
No, you can't. You can't. Everybody wants to see you, and you never want to be the bad guy telling your family, "Hey,
stay away."
Yes, chill out for a little bit. And so, look, you're always trying to please everybody. You want your family to be happy, just like you don't get the opportunity to play in front of them like this. So you really want to take advantage of it. But sometimes it's to your detriment.
7 in a row retired by Cahill right now. And the mistake he made to Ozuna was a home run, and facing him again here.
But tell me what you think. I thought in that last at bat against Ozuna, he looked like he was sitting on that curveball.
That curveball that and we just got done talking about his hot zone on the 5 home runs.
I heard that, yes.
And they were middle, and one was extended out of the zone on the other half of the plate. But with the way he swung, it looks like he had timing on it and possibly looking for it. Because, when a guy's not, he'll take the stride, kind of pause just that one instance. But, it looked like everything was fluid, and he was on it.
And middle in was 600, his batting average.
Tony, what do you see here?
See, the first thing I noticed is when he gets that foot down, there's no flinch at all on that breaking ball. And that breaking ball started in on his hip. And most people, when they're not expecting that breaking ball, there's a little flinch to it. He stuck it as almost like, here it's coming. I know it's coming. And he put a great swing on it.
So you think it's a guess, or perhaps he tipped his pitch?
I think he just guessed in that particular count.
High drive to left. Will it stay fair? It's down the line and bending. It'll be a foul ball. Wow. Had to wait.
Is that another breaking ball right there?
Looked like it. Maybe a cutter.
Towering, loud foul ball.
See if we can check it out of the hand of Cahill. Oh, changeup. High changeup. Out in front of it just a little bit too much.
It's quite the follow through he has there at the end of that swing, too. Now a grounder right side, and Solarte ranges, off balance throw in time. Gets Ozuna 8 in a row, retired by Cahill. Game tied 1-1. The injury to Madison Bumgarner, who's having a tough start to his season. An apparent dirt bike accident today, placed on the 10-day disabled list with a left shoulder injury and perhaps some rib problems as well. Likely to miss 6 to 8 weeks. First career stint on the DL, and it was not a great start for him or the Giants for that matter, as he was 0-3 with a 3.00 earned run average. And you look at the rest of the starters for the Giants, with the exception really of Johnny Cueto, and a team that started the night last in the National League West, 6-10 their record, and that does not help at all.
No, certainly a big loss for the Giants. He actually had pitched well, just hadn't got any run support. You know, looking at his numbers, he had a 3 ERA. He hadn't won a game. And, you know, it puts players on notice. And, you know, if you're going to be doing things like that, there's always the risk of not only hurting yourself, but hurting your ball club.
Definitely weakens the rotation. That goes without saying. And I'll be the first one to stand up in front of class and raise my hand and say, you know what, I've done things.
Yeah.
But this one, there aren't many Madison Bumgarners around.
No.
And like I said, I'm not perfect by any means, but when you're Madison Bumgarner and you are the horse and you are the guy and you do something like that, I'll be careful, I'm just going to have a good time. Well, no. Freak things happen.
Can't take that risk.
You can't take that risk.
There's a complete difference in losing to Tony Gwynn Jr. and losing to Madison Bumgarner. I mean, your team is going to feel that.
Well, Ryan Schimpf with a base hit, taking it the other way into left center field.
Well, Tony, you batted from the left side against the lefty. Let's fight one off here.
The first thing is that for facing a lefty as a left-handed hitter, you got to keep that front hip in there, and it's so easy for it to leak out towards, you know, for the Padres, leak out towards their dugout. And he's able to stay in there and carve that ball in the center field for a knock.
Tony, I want to ask you a question regarding last inning, the subject. Guessing. Were there times, I'm sure every hitter at one point in time, when you, a certain pitcher, a certain count, where you were guessing, looking for one certain pitch?
Yeah, you know, I don't like to use the word guessing because it's not really a guess. It's an educated guess. You've got some information that has led you to believe that this next pitch is coming, whether it's how he pitched the last guy or how he's pitched a guy similar to you. There are guys who will go up there and blatantly guess. I wasn't that good to be able to do that.
On the ground and quickly through the left side off the bat of Hunter Renfroe. Schimpf will take second, and a good start to the bottom of the fourth inning for the Padres.
It's nice to see some of these guys who've been struggling lately getting knocks. You know, this is the point of the year where you want to keep confidence high, right? You don't want to get too deep. Here he gets a fastball that's up, elevated in the zone, and it's on the outer half of the plate, but because it's elevated, he can go out and kind of hook that ball into that 5.5 hole and gets himself a knock.
2 on, nobody out, and Travis Jankowski coming up. He had a base hit his first time up in the second inning. Padres now 6 hits in the game, out hitting the Marlins 6-2.
Well, in at third base, Prado anticipating a possible bunt from Jankowski, but a double would be nice here. Well, the outfield kind of playing a little bit on the shallow side, not really that shallow, but still, you hit something on the line, split a gap, everybody's off and running.
You know, when the Padres have had success this season, especially early on, it was really the top half of the lineup that was doing all the damage. Over the last couple of games, it's been the opposite. It's been the bottom half of the lineup. It'd be nice to see some continuity all the way through that lineup and allow them to score some more runs here.
See, not the 2-0 pitch you really want it, right? Kind of down and in. And easier said than done. I'm sitting up here, but Tony, you were in that spot.
No, you've said it right. It's easier said than done. But look, when you're at this level, it's expected of you. You get a 2-0 count, you have to take advantage. You're not going to get too many pitches per at bat in the big leagues. You're probably getting 1.5 pitches to hit that you can actually do some damage with. The rest of them are all going to be pitchers' pitches, and you can't make a living hitting pitchers' pitches.
2-2 the count here to Jankowski. Schimpf had singled to left center to begin the inning. Renfroe hooking one through the left side, and 2 on, nobody out.
What size bat did you use, Tony?
Same as my dad. 33 inches, 30.5 ounces.
Really?
Yes. Didn't work for me the same, unfortunately.
Going away and a full count.
During spring training, I talked to both of you guys about it. It seemed like everybody was putting together quality at bats, whether they got hits or not. And that seems to have kind of faded a little bit since the season has started. If you get back doing those type of things, having quality at bats, it puts more pressure on the pitcher out there.
Strike 3 call. Jankowski spinning out of the box, thought he had ball 4, and he may have, but rung up by Scott Berry for the first out of the inning, and that's the first K for Conley on the night.
Forcing fastball away. Real Muto. He sticks it. Glove stays still. May have been off the plate a little bit.
Tough one to take right there.
So unable to move the runners along. 1 down in the inning, and now the pitcher, Trevor Cahill, squaring already. Pulls it back and swings away. Fouls it down the right field line. That will reach the seats.
Tony, elaborate on that point you just made as far as the count to Travis and being too close to take.
Right, and considering who's behind him. You know you got the pitcher behind you. You already have 2 strikes. Last thing you want to do is put it in the umpire's hands at that point. You know, you've worked hard to get back into that count right there. Anything close, especially that close, you just got to try to foul off or put the best swing you can, especially considering Trevor Cahill is behind you.
Swinging again. And that high fastball he couldn't catch up to. Went around and strikes out. Back-to-back Ks for Conley. 2 down in the inning. So the first 2 reached, the next 2 struck out, and it goes back up top now to Manuel Margot.
How fun was it watching him run that triple out?
Was it?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Explosive speed.
I mean, it looked like out of the box. That's what he was thinking the entire time.
Strike 1. Low strike call there.
Looks like Scott's hearing it from that dugout over there a little bit.
Somebody's chirping over there.
On the ground, right towards D. Gordon. He'll flip to second base for the force out that ends the inning. Padres threaten but do not score. Game tied 1-1. by Saquon Casino. Play, win together in the heart of San Diego. By Jack in the Box. Try the Double Jack Combo for just $4.99 only at Jack in the Box. And by Tough Turtle Turf, the industry's only lifetime turf. Well, a 1-1 ball game here into the 5th inning. Padres have had their chances in this game. Padres stranding 6. The Marlins have stranded 2. Trevor Cahill, who's thrown 57 pitches, has been ahead of most all night. In fact, first pitch strikes to 13 of the last 15 hitters, and they'll deal with the bottom third of the Marlins order. Real Muto, Echeverria, and Conley. And again, he's ahead. There's strike 1.
And he doesn't throw anything straight. No. Everything's moving out of the hand of Trevor Cahill.
When he's on, he's got that hard sinker. And when he's getting ahead like that, it just makes his off-speed pitches that much better.
And, you know, when he was with the Cubs, I remember talking to some of the Cubs people, and they said, you know, they were just so loaded with pitching. He was just another guy.
Yeah.
And it's nothing against Trevor Cahill because the kid can pitch. But when you've got a staff like that, you only have so many roster spots.
Well, that's what makes that roster so good, is that they had so much depth. If one of those guys goes down, how nice is it? What kind of luxury is it to be able to throw Trevor Cahill into the staff?
Ship from deep third, able to throw out Real Muto for the first out here of the 5th, and that's now 9 in a row. Retired by Trevor Cahill. He's in a nice groove right now.
Ground ball, ground ball, ground ball. Seems to be the theme of the Padres pitching staff.
And with that movement, it's tough to square it up. Hitting the top half of the baseball, hence the grounders.
It was interesting today. I was out here early, and you had about 5 of the Padre hitters taking early BP off the machine. Something you don't see very often.
Guys usually hate that, don't they?
They usually hate it, but Zent had him out here hitting off the machine. I didn't get a chance to ask him what the thought process was, but they hit off some fastballs, and then they had the breaking balls. And one of the things that I found interesting was it seemed like for the most part the first 5 swing, these guys were hitting the top of the ball. And he started telling them, got to get underneath it.
Another 5-3 put out, another ground out. Time now for the Bill Howe plays of the game, and Cahill inducing some ground balls tonight.
Well, we always mentioned about the double play and being a pitcher's best friend, but I'll take a grounder any day. And sure, once in a while they're going to find a hole and go through the 5.5 hole, but keeps your infielders busy. And when they know, and Tony playing the outfield, even when you know a guy's on his game, the ball's in play, grounders, you're on your toes.
You're on your toes.
9 ground ball outs to this point, and now the pitcher Conley standing in.
Notice where all those balls were on the square. They were to either one side of the square or the other. Nothing in the middle of the square.
And when you miss down, because hitters will swing when they are down and out of the zone. I'll take that any day of the week.
Yeah. Now it looks very similar to Clayton Richard last night. He had a few more punchies, but it's early still.
Conley thought about it, lays off. Cahill falling behind now, 3-1 for the opposing pitcher. There's a strike. Full count.
Looks like he's just playing catch, doesn't it?
Well, that was 90.
Free and easy. Grounded back by him towards second. Solarte's quick throw gets there in time. 11 in a row retired by Cahill. A lot of ground ball outs tonight. That's the 10th. Solarte charging in to take care of this. Halfway through this game, tied up 1-1 from San Diego. Ball break brought to you by T-Mobile. Bryce Harper hitting his 7th home run of the season tonight. Johnny Cueto, we're talking about him and the Giants starters. 5 innings pitched, 6 earned runs. Haven't seen that. And Jason Kipnis activated from the 10-day DL, shoulder inflammation. The Indians getting him back, but we were talking about the Giants' problems with their starters, and Cueto has a tough night tonight. What is going on in San Francisco?
Yeah, that's a tough one. I mean, your ace goes down, and your second ace has a rough outing. That leaves the 3, 4, 5 guys to clean up the mess.
Now Johnny Cueto's got to be that guy going once every 5th day to be the stopper.
Yeah.
Previous to that start, he was 7-0 with a 1.87 ERA against the Rockies.
Wow.
And they turned that around tonight.
He dominated the Padres last year, that's for sure.
I mean, he dominated a lot of people.
Yes, he did. I wasn't alone. Coming up here to lead it off for the Padres, Eric Ibar, Will Myers, and Yangervis Solarte.
I mean, that is dealing against his last 9 starts against the Rockies, 7-0 with a 1.8.
Yeah, and I'm sure some of those are in Colorado too when he's doing that.
Ibar, who has had a couple of good nights here offensively. Big home run here the other night. Drove in a couple of runs last night, and a sac fly tonight in the 1st inning, supplying the Padres their run. And a fly ball headed to right field. Stanton will have room. And he makes the catch shy of the track for the first out of the bottom of the 5th. Myers still looking for that first hit tonight to continue the hit streak. It's been impressive.
He really has. I mean, he's used the whole field well. I talked about it in the pregame. I think he's managed the strike zone. He only has the 1 walk, and people get caught up in walking, but he swung at good pitches. He's not chasing balls out of the zone. And because of that, I think that's why you see his average so high in how he's driving the baseball.
I thought it was interesting, a nice little piece. A.J. Cassavell talked about Will Myers and keeping notes for every at-bat. And to me, and Tony, I'd like to hear your thought on this, but if you're doing that each and every at-bat, you are not giving away at-bats. And what brings one guy to mind, Keith Hernandez, playing against him. That guy, no matter what the score, 4 or 5 at-bats a game, he batted like it was the game was on the line. And it seems like that's the way Will Myers wants to be.
You know, when the few times the Padres have been blown out this season, when you watch Will Myers at bats, he is locked in for all of them. I mean, doesn't matter if it's the first at bat, the last at bat, no matter what the score is, he's locked in, and that talks about maybe those notes he's taking, because it keeps you in tune with what's going on. You're not worried about the score as much.
Almost got hit.
Well, a lot of pitches up, a lot of pitches into Will Myers this at bat.
That seems to be the place a lot of teams think they can get him out is up in the zone. You see how he spread the ball out, as I mentioned. He's got 7 hits to right, 10 to center, and 8 to left.
Well, strikes out this time for the 2nd out of the inning. 3rd K for Conley. 2 down.
There's that breaking ball down and in, out of the hand. Looks like it's going to be inner 3rd. And as I mentioned, Conley, no problem throwing the fastball in and breaking stuff into righties and lefties alike. I like this kid.
He's got a lot of arms and legs coming at you.
That's what I said, a lot of knees and elbows coming at you.
He looks bigger than 6'3" to me. I don't know. Maybe it's the socks. 2 down here in the 5th, and Yangervis Solarte. Solarte singled to right field in the 1st, grounded out to 1st in the 3rd.
I find it interesting. This is the first time I've really noticed it, seeing how far up in the box Solarte is. I mean, that is very close to where my dad used to hit it. Front foot being on almost on the white line up top. And I think a lot of guys hit in the back of the box, but when you hit in the front of the box, as close as he is, he has a lot more field to play with the other way.
To center, Yelich started back, now comes in and has time to recover. So 1, 2, 3, 5th, and on to the 6th in a 1-1 ball game. A 1-1 ball game and a very good, well-pitched ball game here. Adam Conley and Trevor Cahill going head-to-head, and Cahill through the first 5 only 2 hits allowed. Conley through the first 5 6 hits, and only of course the 1 run, and both with 3 strikeouts at this point. Cahill in a stretch where he has retired the last 11 Marlins in a row as he starts this 6th inning.
Seems like the theme: quick, efficient, balls in play, guys are making plays, and those are the last 2 games against the Diamondbacks, right?
Let me ask you this: you feel like there's a little bit of competition going on here among the starters?
There always is.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Tony can talk on the hitters, and even when I was in the starting rotation or in the bullpen, you're a tight-knit fraternity. You always want to try to outdo one. First of all, you're rooting for one another, but still, you want to do better than the next guy.
It's not always vocalized either. It's not always like, here's my 7 right here, Shuddy. What are you going to do with it? Sometimes it's just one of those things. All right, you went out and pitched well. I gotta go out and match it.
Mm-hmm.
Notice that, well, at least in the Padres, from the Padres standpoint, the last 3 guys who pitch aren't your flamethrowers.
Ibar takes care of that for the first out of the 6th inning.
Good control, pitching to both sides of the plate, leaving balls out of the middle.
You would love to face a guy 96 and straight, wouldn't you?
Absolutely. You know what it's going to be if it's down the middle. That's the thing about the big league hitters, man. When it doesn't matter how hard you're throwing, if you're throwing it down the middle of the plate, it will get hit.
Yep.
They might swing through 1 or 2 of them. Eventually, they time it up.
This is his 11th ground ball out, his 12th Marlin in a row retired. And Martin Prado, the recipient of strike 1.
A lot of strike 1s, too, from Cahill.
He has been ahead all night. Yeah. He has been ahead.
There is nothing better when a pitcher is in that groove. You've got the blinders on.
He's going to let it go. Schimpf will throw on the run, and Myers dug it out at first base. Nice play by Will Myers. Schimpf charging in. Looked like Cahill may try to grab that, but Schimpf coming in makes the throw, and that is out number 2 of the inning.
Hey, sometimes the best play is when you don't try to make the play. And great concentration from Schimpf because he's got to deal with Cahill, and the stretch. The catch by Will Myers helping him out. There he is, and he gets out of his way. It wasn't as close at first as I thought, and 2 quick outs.
Talking about getting ahead, 17 of the first 20 batters that he has faced, he's had strike 1, 2.
You're going to find a lot of success when you're getting strike 1.
Christian Yelich.
I was mentioning, it's like a horse coming down the straight. You got the blinders on. You got one thing in mind. You got that wire, right? Well, as a pitcher, there's nothing better than getting in that group. But the key is you can't try to overdo it.
Right.
If you start to try to overthrow, that's when you run into trouble. Almost like a hitter, I would say, Tony. You start to overswing. If you're swinging the bat well, hey, if I try a little harder, maybe.
Right. It's all from a pitching standpoint. It's like guys who try to throw, especially a sinker baller like Trevor Cahill. If he starts trying to add on to it, all of a sudden that ball straightens out. Doesn't quite have that sink on it. You might not be getting the same type of swings you're getting on it right now.
Well, the first 2 starts in a Padres uniform for Cahill on the road away. Los Angeles and Atlanta, now getting his first start here as a Padre at Petco Park. And it's going very well.
Nice change up there, the bottom. That was the old trap door. That was bam. That ball just dropped right off the table. There's the grip.
Yeah. And you've been getting a steady diet of sinkers that's been doing the same thing, and you throw a changeup out of the same exact arm slot, you're going to get a lot of swing overs.
That was a 2-seamer there. Just didn't get in enough.
And a lot of guys, when you get a swing and a miss, they're a little hesitant. Nobody likes swinging and missing at a baseball. And when you've got sinker, and all of a sudden this changeup comes out, it makes you a little trigger shy of pulling it on the next pitch.
Swing and a miss, and Yelich strikes out. That is the 4th strikeout for Trevor Cahill. He has now retired 14 Marlins in a row. Getting that 4th K in a 1-1 ball game from Petco Park. here for the Padres in the home half of the 6th inning. Getting his third look at Adam Conley in tonight's game. He's lined to short, fouled out to the first baseman. 6 in a row retired by Conley.
Tony, I got a question for you. A guy's struggling, and I'm not, the way Austin started the season. How important, even if you take a walk, how much does that help you?
It helps a lot. I mean, just getting to first base and standing on it can do wonders for your confidence. But in the back of your mind, I think you still know that there's some things to be ironed out at the swing. And as far as Austin's concerned, I think he's on his way. I mean, he's starting to swing the bat a lot better since the beginning of the season, especially going hitless for those first 24 at bats. That could be taxing mentally. And since that Atlanta series, he's come back around a little bit.
Well, look the way he's turned it around, and it seemed that home run was what got him going off R.A. Dickey, former Cy Young Award winner. He now has 3 home runs on the year and 5 runs batted in. Weight of the world kind of off his shoulders, but he strikes out here on a pitch over the inside corner. 4 strikeouts now for Conley. Hedges didn't think so.
Pitch looked a little up. I don't always believe the K-zone. I know Mud believes in it. I don't always believe in it.
Your dad and I always used to get into it on the air. You go, pitchers. Hitters.
Yep.
That's a strike.
Well, he called it a strike, that's for sure. I can't argue with that.
Did you ever get tossed for arguing balls and strikes?
In the minor leagues, I did. I made a point to try not to do it at the big league level. Too many people watching. My dad could see that one.
And Ryan Schimpf had a single to center field his last time up.
I was ejected twice in AAA, and I think after the second one, my dad was like, all right, that's enough. Ooh.
Schimpf with a hit. Padres have 6 in the game. Cahill has held the Marlins to only 2 hits.
I think it's going to boil down to the Padre hitters really trying to.
Into the shift, Andy Gordon very close, but Schimpf able to, or was retired, I should say. And he is out number 2 of the inning. Beat it out there, but could not. Close play at first base. Well, the day after the Padres score 5 or more runs, get 50% off any regular menu price online order at papajohns.com. Enter promo code Padres5.
Much like it was the other night where it took some good at-bats towards the end. We had one by Ibar, and it kind of trickled down. That's what it's going to take today. You got to make these pitchers work a little bit. Conley's in his 83rd pitch of the night. Starting to see some activity in both bullpens.
Yeah, and if somebody makes a miscue, who's going to capitalize on a miscue, maybe a throwing error or getting by an outfielder, a bad pitch, capitalizing on a mistake. Here's a guy who can crush a mistake.
2-hit night so far for Renfroe. Infield hit and a single to left.
Oh, maybe that was up just a little bit too much.
That looked like kind of a cement mixer right there. That just was a little bit too high.
What Tony's referring to is we see Miguel Diaz. If you're going down the freeway and you see one of those big cement trucks, you know how the back is like spinning? That's the old cement mixer. It's just kind of rolling up there.
It's spinning, but it's not going anywhere. Right.
It's going straight.
Those are the type of sliders you want to see all the time.
Full count here to Renfroe. Conley has retired 8 batters in a row. 2 outs here in the bottom of the 6th inning. And a walk. walk for Renfroe.
Look at that.
Good time he's been on base tonight for the Padres. It's the first walk of the season for Hunter Renfroe. Second walk allowed by Conley on the night, and with 2 down here in the 6th, brings up Travis Jankowski. 1 for 2 night for Jankowski, a single and a strikeout to this point.
I don't want to pick on the umpires too much, but that looked very similar to the pitch he got run
I
up
was
on.
thinking the same thing.
And that's, for a hitter, that's what makes it difficult. I'm sure it's the same thing for a pitcher. When you take one pitch, it's called a strike. The next time it hits the same spot, it's called a ball. That's almost more confusing than it being, one way the whole time.
Well, Cahill, who's dealing here tonight, has only thrown 79 pitches through 6 innings, and Christian Bethencourt has come out on deck to bat for him.
Well, I'm hoping that, it's a hitter's count here, 2-1. Maybe he goes 3-1 for Travis and do some damage. Split a gap, find a foul line.
Do you think he goes back out if they make it?
In the air down the left field line, Ozuna got kind of a late break, and he will not get there in time.
I think if it gets to that situation, Tony, I say yeah, send him back out there.
How many pitches is he now?
79.
That's
pretty
that's
economical.
That's efficient right there.
And he is in some type of groove.
Yeah, he is.
That's the thing. He has retired the last 14 batters in a row. 12 ground ball outs in his outing. Not sure if he'll be back out there again. We'll see. That's the difference you have here in the National League, no doubt about it.
That's what makes the game a little more strategic, having to make these decisions late in ball games.
On the outside corner for strike 3, and Jankowski strikes out to end the inning. We're headed for the 7th, tied at 1.
Debut. What kept you going?
The love of the game, the passion I had to play the game of baseball. People are like, how did you do that? How'd you do that? It was easy for me because I was playing baseball. To be able to make it, it was all worth it, even though it was just a brief stint. I would not change my journey because it's prepared me for what I do now. Namaste.
Well, guys, that was a sneak peek at tonight's episode of Padres POV presented by Nissan. As you just saw, I got to do some yoga with hitting coach Alan Zinter, and guys, he's actually pretty good. It surprised me. We discussed some of the similarities between practicing yoga and hitting. And make sure you tune in tonight after Padres Live, the postgame show.
All right, Michelle, thanks very much. What I'm going to ask, I asked Mark Sweeney, because I couldn't stand like that on 1 foot longer than like 2 seconds. I mean, can you do yoga? Or do you yoga?
No, I do not yoga. I have never yoga'd. I hear people rave about it.
I wear yoga pants a lot, but I don't yoga per se.
I like to see in those stretch pants.
I couldn't yoga for 5 seconds. I mean, I couldn't stand like that. He's talking
that
about
takes
his career.
concentration, balance, and it works the muscles, though, man. The middle core, you bet, which I think is very important, and I'll elaborate on that.
Line down the left field line, foul. Please do.
Everybody thinks pitchers legs. Sure, you have to have strong legs, but I'm a firm believer of the core.
Yeah.
Sit-ups, the medicine ball. I think that is very, very important.
Giancarlo Stanton leading it off. Justin Bour, Marcell Ozuna, and a fly ball headed out towards right center. Renfroe makes the catch for out number 1 of the 7th inning.
Now that's not letting the big boy get extended. Giancarlo Stanton, we know he can hit a country mile. Two-seamer, movement in, down by the label. And the closer to the label, not going to travel. That's getting in on him. And he is back out there, of course. We discussed that last half inning.
15 in a row now retired by Cahill. And a rare flyout as he deals now with Bour.
This is the type of ball game where Trevor Cahill shuts him down, and then the Padres get about 2 or 3 to have Trevor Cahill be the pitcher of record and get a deserved win, because he's just pitching his heart out.
A check swing there, and Quinn Walcott said he didn't go. So a ball and a strike here to Bour, who is 0 for 2 tonight. He is grounded out and struck out. Now he's down 1-2. On the ground, shift is on, and Ibar charges in from short. The throw off balance and not in time. Did not get a lot on that throw, and Bour able to beat it out for an infield hit. Breaks up a string of 15 in a row retired by Trevor Cahill.
Well, a long way for Ibar on this one. The high chopper. And I think he did everything he could. There was no hesitation. There was no bobble. Clean transfer on the run, and it looks like Bour just gets in safely.
So the first base runner to reach first base since the 2nd inning for the Marlins. Comes with 1 out here in the 7th inning, and here's Marcell Ozuna. Curveball for strike 1.
Now be careful of that one.
Ozuna homered in the 2nd, grounded out to second base in the 4th inning. 344 start to his season. And a high strike call.
Home plate umpire Scott Berry has called that pitch consistently tonight. The one up and away to the righties.
Ozuna just took a look back, didn't realize he called it a strike. And I think he did.
Yes, he did.
Went around, struck out. 5th strikeout for Cahill. 2 down in the 7th inning.
Talk about a big time punch out right there. Going out of the zone. Ozuna's got to protect. Nice tight rotation, and credit Austin Hedges for moving to his right and smothering that one. Oh, he went big time. It's worth another look.
So 2 down here in the 7th inning. JT Realmuto 1 for 2, single to right in the 2nd, and grounded out in the 5th. Pitch 92 of the night for Trevor Cahill. Realmuto off to a terrific start, hitting at 360. Molina catching, batting 7th for the Marlins.
Now looking ahead to the bullpens for the Marlins, they're ranked 4th in the National League with an ERA of 3.25. 3.25 for the Marlins. If it gets to that point. Got some good arms. You know what bullpen doesn't have good arms these days?
I saw the Braves and they were outstanding.
Unbelievable.
Well, the Rockies were very good.
Padres
very good.
Good hammer.
Only 3 hits allowed tonight by Trevor Cahill. Moore's got one. Ozuna's got the home run and the single by the man at the plate. Real Muto back in the 2nd. Now he fouls it off. We'll do it again here. 2-2.
I'm going to go slider away here. What are you going to throw this guy here, Don?
I'm coming in on him.
Are you?
Yeah.
Okay, two-seamer in or slider away. Curveball?
How about a curveball? So we're both wrong.
How about a Fresca?
Runner goes. Curveball for strike 3. Nasty. Back-to-back Ks for Cahill. 6 strikeouts for Cahill. 7 innings for Cahill. In a 1-1 game. Padres baseball brought to you by Honda. Hurry into the Honda Dream Garage sales event today. By Petco, your complete pet store with all the services you need. And by your San Diego County Lexus dealers, who invites you to test drive a Lexus today. A 1-1 ball game into the bottom of the 7th inning. Padres are going to have a pinch hitter followed by Margot and Ibar here in the bottom of the 7th inning. And the new pitcher on now for the Marlins, David Phelps.
Well, a veteran guy. He's been around for quite a while. His 8th game, a high ERA, but righties are having their way with him. 400 and lefties 333, so a chance. Hey, how about the Padres scoring multiple runs here? Trevor Cahill pitching his heart out. He is still the pitcher of record. He deserves victory.
Pitching change brought to you by El Cajon Ford. And Phelps coming on for Conley, who went the first 6 innings of tonight's game. Through 93 pitches. Now it's 6 hits and a run. Walked 2, struck out 5, and hands it off to the bullpen. Will not be part of the decision. Luis Sardinez is pinch hitting here in the pitcher's spot in the bottom of the 7th inning.
Well, Phelps fastball cutter will mix in a curveball and a changeup. He's about 93 on the fastball.
Miguel Rojas has taken over at first base for Justin Bohr. A late cut there from Sardinez on the 93-mile-an-hour fastball. Well, Trevor Cahill, 7 innings pitched tonight, longest outing for him since August the 9th of 2014. 6 strikeouts in tonight's game, and about 12 ground ball outs, and in one stretch had retired 15 Marlins in a row.
That's a good night in the big leagues for the local kid.
Let's see the Padres get him a run here in the bottom of the 7th. Cahill threw 96 pitches, 67 for strikes, and he got ahead all night. 20 of 25 hitters, first pitch strikes. Sardinez to center field, falling fast. Yelich isn't going to get there. It's a base hit for Sardinez to begin things here in the bottom of the 7th inning.
That's clutch. Had 2 strikes on him. It looks like a little cut fastball, but anyway, it's right down the middle. Yeah, it's a cutter. Right down the middle, fights it off, doesn't try to overswing, and dumps it right in front of Yelich.
So lead runner on here for the Padres in the bottom of the 7th inning. Now Manuel Margot. He is trying to bunt, and he pops it up foul back up and over the screen. Well, David Phelps first out of the pen tonight for the Marlins. For the starter tonight for Miami, went 6 innings. Tardy on that is Margot, and it's a 95-mile-an-hour fastball.
Straight fastball, but well located. That's a 4-seamer. He throws the 4-seamer and the cutter right on the outside corner.
The 5th time that Phelps has faced the Padres. The first 3 times were all starts for Phelps. Coming out of the pen now for Miami.
Kind of a different mindset for a pitcher coming out of the pen as opposed to starting. Probably going to see the lineup maybe once, maybe 1 inning, 3 hitters to 6 or 7 hitters maybe. You want to get short, quick outs. I mean, you want to do that as a starter too, but don't have to worry about setting up hitters for the second, third time around. Be aggressive in the zone with all your pitches and expand when needed.
Margot fights it off. A fastball he couldn't get earlier. He fouls off this time down the right field line. Run, 7 hits, no errors for San Diego. They have left 7 men on base. A run, 3 hits, no errors for Miami. They have left 3 on. Lead runner on for the Padres. Nobody out, and a good battle here. Margot grounds one left side, and diving is Echeverria. His throw will be late, and it's an infield hit for Margot. What a diving play by Echeverria to even get there at shortstop, and no chance to get the speedy Margot.
Don, I didn't even think Echeverria was going to get to that ball. I thought it was going to scoot through for a base hit. 3 hopper, and he actually catches that ball behind him. That ball is by him. And the way he positioned his body, he gloves it. No chance of getting Margot.
First and second, nobody out. Eric Ibar coming up. Padres have been relatively quiet with runners in scoring position, 0 for 7 in that category. Pickoff play at second, and diving back to get back is Sardinha.
That is such a great move. That is such a great play to put on. Hit. Everybody's worrying about Ibar and the pitcher Phelps, and sometimes the attention, especially a base runner, even you're focused on the matter at hand. All around home plate in the pitcher's mound. You catch a guy sleeping, that is a nice play to put on. Even though he's safe, good play.
Ibar squaring here. And he gets it down the third base line. Realmuto slips, and everybody's going to be safe. His feet come from underneath him, and down he goes. Ibar will reach at first base, and the bases are loaded with nobody out here in the 7th. And indeed, a base hit for Ibar.
Well, sometimes you catch a break, and now you have to capitalize on that mistake. You know, if Ibar would have bunted them over on the sacrifice, you got first base open. Would they pitch to Will Myers? Well, now nowhere to put him. You got the big boy coming up with the bases drunk. Sardinha's hitting the slide, realizing the play in front of him. Everybody is safe. We got action.
Bases filled with Padres for Will Myers, still looking for his first hit of the night tonight. A spot, a .351 hitter with one slam. Myers hits it on the ground to second base. Gordon will go to second for one, on to first for two, but a run scores, and the Padres take a 2-1 lead. Sardinha is coming in from third base as Myers grounds into the double play. Taking third is Margot, but the Padres take the lead.
Oh, Phelps really got in the kitchen of Will Myers there. Oh yeah, that's down by the label.
Now they will intentionally walk on Hervis Solarte. The no pitches thrown, intentional walk. That'll put runners at the corners with 2 outs, and Austin Hedges coming up. Automatically electing to walk Solarte.
Well, different type of fastball being faced here by Austin Hedges. A straight fastball from Phelps. He's got that little cutter, but not getting that angle from the lefty Connolly earlier in the game. Down and in, down and away. Remember the first at bat tonight, Austin hit the ball well, just happened to line it at the shortstop, Echeverria. I'd like to see the kid come through here.
Hedges will foul it back and finds himself down 0-2. Back-to-back fastballs. It's a little bit straighter, but it's also harder at 95. Margot at third, cross the diamond. Solarte at first. Run already in. There goes Solarte. The pitch is inside, and he will steal second base. So now the Padres have 2 in scoring position.
Now the Marlins can't go the short way to get out of this inning with that force out at second base.
Phelps really paid no attention at all to Solarte at first. Framed there by Realmuto, but called a ball. Phelps backs off, wants Realmuto to go through the signs again. Has relinquished the lead here to the Padres in the bottom of the 7th inning. Now they're looking to obtain some insurance. Hedges will foul it off to the right out of play. They'll do it again. 2-2.
That last pitch working underneath it a little bit. Looked like it was down and away. Kind of all upper body there. Just a little behind.
Hedges drives one deep and far to left, and when it comes down, the Padres are going to have a 5-1 lead. A 3-run shot for Austin Hedges, his 4th home run of the year, and the Padres take a 5-1 lead.
The hanging cutter. You hangy, and he will bangy. 95 away, can't catch up. Phelps puts a little wrinkle in one, speeds up the bat, leaves it over the heart of the plate. 5-1 Fryer.
He was frustrated on the swing before, a ball that he fouled off to the right. He comes back and takes it out of the yard. A 4-run bottom of the 7th inning to this point. And the pitcher of record right now for the Padres, rightfully so, Trevor Cahill.
Oh yeah.
Strike 3 call, and Ryan Schimpf strikes out to end the inning, but what an inning it was. Padres score 4 times in the inning. The big blast, the 3-run home run for Austin Hedges. It's 5-1 San Diego.
Austin Hedges.
Yeah, he got a slider here, stayed back, and really took a good rip at it. It's a funny situation right there. He had just got a fastball blown by him. The pitcher elects to go with the slider, and he was all over it.
Now, Mark Grant will tell you about pitchers outthinking themselves. Yeah. That's for sure. That seems to be the case right now. Tony Gwynn Jr., Mike Pomeranz with you. We're going to see on Padres Live the post-game show brought to you by Cox Communications. And when we do, we'll break down everything that happened in the game with Trevor Cahill. A great night as well. You'll hear from Andy Green, and we're going to take you for a tour around baseball, show you some of the best highlights of the night. So right now, let's get it back up to Don Orsillo and Mark Grant. Guys.
All right, Mike and Tony, thanks very much. As we play along to the 8th inning, the Padres into their pen after 7 great innings from Trevor Cahill. It's time for Ryan Buchter to check in.
The perfect blueprint for this Padres game tonight. Now Trevor Cahill is the pitcher of record thanks to that home run, but Ryan Buchter, we know he's very aggressive in the strike zone. He's got a 4-run pad to work with here in the 8th.
Echeverria leading it off, 0 for 2. Trevor Cahill again, 7 innings, 3 hits, 1 run. He walked the batter, struck out 6, 11, checked out 12 ground ball outs in his outing, and one stretch had retired 15 Marlins in a row. Fly ball struck well to right field, but Renfroe will have room, and he makes the catch in front of the track for the first out of the 8th.
MLB.com at bat is your #1 mobile app for live Padres baseball. Stay connected with a fully customizable experience. Get Padres home screen icons, app features, as well as game day, live game video highlights, radio broadcasts, StatCast, news, and more. Oh yeah, there's more. There's more? There's more. Download MLB.com at bat today.
1 out in the 8th. Here is Miguel Rojas. Took over at first base. For Justin Bohr, the pitcher spot is now the 5 spot in the Marlins order. Rojas at 289. No homers, 2 runs batted in. We're talking about him at short, but he really can play all over. Very versatile.
They liked him at short, but you know, you can only put one guy out there at short from what I can remember in this game. Echeverria is your everyday shortstop, and when a guy comes back healthy, that's where he goes to.
Rojas turns on this and sends it foul. Last 5 games been very quiet against the Padres. Sardinez has taken over at third base. Part of a double switch here. Sardinez now in the 9 spot in the orders. He pinch hit last inning, and now the pitcher spot in the order is 6th. With Ryan Schimpf coming out of the game. 2-1 to Rojas. In the air to left center field. Struck pretty well. Jankowski and Margot, and they collide out there. Jankowski slow to get up. Margot able to make the catch out there. But the two come together and collide.
First of all, a long way to run. Secondly, you got the crowd noise out there, and it's really tough to tell who's taking charge as far as saying, I got it, I got it. Looks like Manuel is saying something there. Kind of tough to tell.
Looked like Jankowski took the brunt of that, although Margot also stretching it out. But Jankowski hit up into the air and landing on his backside. With 2 fast guys running into each other.
Yeah, you got to scream at the top of your lungs. And like I said, you know, we're not out there. We don't know what the communication was on that play.
So 2 down here in the 8th inning. D. Gordon, the batter. Strike 1 from Buchter. On the ground, softly hit. Buchter will flip backhanded to first for the out that ends the top of the 8th inning. And Gordon hobbling around a little bit. It's 5-1 San Diego. Now for our Carl's Jr. star of the game, and Trevor Cahill was outstanding tonight. Pitcher of record right now for the Padres, 7 innings, 3 hits, 1 run, 1 walk, 6 strikeouts, and had one stretch where he had retired 15 Marlins in a row.
Nothing out of the hand tonight from Trevor Cahill was straight. He had all of his pitches working quickly, working effectively. The infielders busy on their toes, making plays for him. The sinker, the slider, the curveball, the changeup. And a nice job, yeah. A hug to Austin Hedges, you bet. Working well together.
David Phelps, who gave up the 4 runs in the 7th inning, back out there in the 8th. To Renfroe. He's had a good night tonight. 2 singles and a walk. And on base 3 times. Adam Conley pitched well here tonight, the starter for the Marlins.
He certainly did. I like what I saw from the left-hander, you bet.
6 innings, 1 run allowed. Bullpen did not help him out. Two to Renfroe.
Well,
Full count now.
I'm sorry, Don. Going into this game for Phelps, 8 frames, 2 home runs. Now 9 frames, 3 home runs. So early on in this season, he's been a victim of the long ball.
And Austin Hedges, the guy that got him tonight. Good to see Travis Jankowski waiting on deck. Appears to be okay after the collision with Manuel Margot. That is right back to the pitcher and nicely snared by Phelps. A hot shot through the glove out there. And made the catch to Rob Renfroe. Another hard hit ball.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the San Diego Padres and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. The accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the San Diego Padres.
So 1 out in the 8th, and it brings up Travis Jankowski. Travis singled to right in the 2nd inning. A 1-for-3 night.
Glove just happened to be on his left side there, and almost like the ball found his glove, right?
Strike on the outside corner. Yeah, I'm not so sure he caught it more than it caught him.
I think the ball caught him.
He's about to throw his 30th pitch. And it's high to Jankowski. 30,413 on hand here tonight. 34-1-3 for game 1 of the 3-game weekend series between the Padres and the Marlins. One-two pitch. On the outside corner for strike 3. Jankowski strikes out for the 2nd out of the 8th inning. 2nd strikeout for David Phelps.
Hey, Padre fans, if you can't catch the games on TV, guess what? You can stream them live on your mobile device with Fox Sports Go. Presented by your San Diego County Toyota dealers. Download the app. Take Padres baseball wherever you go. You got to have it. Wherever you go, Fox Sports Go.
Ground ball softly hit towards first base off the bat of Sardinez, and Rojas wins the race to the bag. It's a 1-2-3 inning. To the 9th we go. 5-1 Padres. deep left field. High, deep, and gone. That is a blast up into that second deck. And Marcell Ozuna is hit his 6th home run of the year with one swing of the bat. Hedges drives one deep and far to left, and when it comes down, the Padres are going to have a 5-1 lead. A 3-run shot for Austin Hedges, his 4th home run of the year, and the Padres take a 5-1 lead. Well, that was the Harrah's game summary for you right there, and Austin Hedges, the big blast, giving the Padres some room to breathe. A 5-1 lead now as we head to the 9th inning.
You got a little excited there, didn't you, partner?
I was fired up.
Rightfully so. You know why I was fired up? It's because Trevor Cahill is the pitcher of record. He pitched his little heart out tonight.
Deserves the victory, and 3 outs away from getting it as Jose Torres comes into the game trying to finish it off here for the Padres.
Well, a great opportunity. You know, there's something about finishing a game. Getting a save is great. It's exciting. Not a save situation. So Andy Green inserting the lefty to try to finish this one off, and that's a great feeling for any pitcher, no matter what the score. To shake hands with the catcher after a job well done and go in the clubhouse and enjoy a victory.
Martin Prado leading it off as walked and grounded out twice.
Got to be aggressive here. Go right after these guys. No free passes.
All 3-0. Ryan Buchter had a 1-2-3 8th inning.
You know, it's set up in a way to where you don't want to have to get another arm up and hot.
Especially using Mauer each of the first 2 games, or actually games 2 and 3 of the Marlins series, and a 4-pitch walk to Martin Prado, the last thing Jose Torres wanted to do. There is action in the Padres pen. Brad Hand is warming. I gotta kind of wonder about the availability of Mauer should they need Mauer tonight. The saves in back-to-back games.
Well, I think just by what you were mentioning, if they could stay away from him, they would elect to.
Double play depth for the Padres in the infield. And a throw over by Torres, but back to the bag is Prado. Another throw over. And a balk. They will give Prado second base. First base umpire Bill Miller made the call. So a 4-pitch walk and then a balk getting Prado to second.
I think Bill Miller, the whole first base, oh yeah, you see what he did? I'll tell you what he did. His foot, when you lift your foot, you cannot break the plane of the rubber. The foot went behind the rubber. You can't do that. If you do that, you have to go to the plate. You cannot go to first base.
Jose Torres coming out of this game. Andy Green is going to get Brad Hand into the game as he takes the baseball. Here in the 9th inning, Padres on top 5-1.
The Marlins 5-1. We're going to go back to that balk from Torres, and what the rule is when he gets to the top there. See, the rubber is right here. He cannot put his foot past the rubber. Okay. When he gets to this point right here, he then has to go to home plate. He went over to first base. He broke the plane with his kick foot. That is a no-no. That is a balk. Move him up 90 feet.
So Prado is at second base. Brad Hand on the mound for the Padres. Becomes the fourth arm used tonight by Andy Green.
Well, he wanted to try to avoid this situation, get another arm hot, but Brad Hand, he's been, the numbers don't lie. He's pitching extremely well early on in the season.
Harrett's a base runner, and there's strike one to Christian Yelich. For 3 against Brad Hand in his career. And of course a Marlin for 5 years. We're coming to the Padres last year. I think it was an amazing year last year for San Diego, and most appearances by a long shot. 82 times out of the pen last year for Andy Green. To center. Margot will backpedal over to make the catch. Back to second goes Prado. Out number 1 of the 9th inning. Yelich retired. A quiet night for the Marlins center fielder. 0 for 4 in the ball game. And it brings up Giancarlo Stanton. 0 for 3. He has grounded out twice and flied to right. Check swinging a ball in the dirt. Did he go? No. Check the crew chief, Bill Miller. Ichiro Suzuki has come out on deck here for the Marlins. New bat in the pitcher's spot. What a reception he received in his likely final season going to Seattle. Final series there. Safeco Field, and is still beloved. This is to right field. Renfroe going back, going to be over his head, and that ball is going to be gone. It is a 2-run shot for Giancarlo Stanton the other way. And now it is 5-3. 5th home run of the year for Stanton.
It is truly amazing how quickly Giancarlo Stanton gets to a baseball. And this ball was a laser. Outer half. Outside corner, I should say. Even off the plate a little bit. And that ball got out in a hurry.
Giancarlo Stanton, with his 5th of the year, has got the Marlins back within 2. And Ichiro will take ball 1. Ichiro, a .309 hitter here at Petco Park over the course of his career. This year hitting at just .158 in 11 games. And a fair ball down the right field line, touched by the ball attendant. And they will award second base to Suzuki. So Ichiro's got himself a double.
After all the years watching Ichiro, the way his body moves in the box, just great hand-eye control, bat control.
Now you got to deal with Marcell Ozuna here right now on the tying run at the plate. Fair ball, touchdown there. Ichiro gets second base. Tying run at the plate. And a wild swing and a miss on a pitch down and in the dirt. Marcell Ozuna's already homered in this game. Did that back in the second inning. Strike two.
That's a nasty pitch, yo. Breaking ball, knee high, outer half.
Oh-2 from Hand. Swing and a miss, and he strikes out Ozuna. Big strikeout for Brad Hand in the second out of the ninth inning.
Mr. Outside with the breaking ball, Mr. Inside, and Ozuna swings right over the top of it for the big strikeout. That's huge.
2 down. Ichiro at second base. JT Realmuto has 2 home runs on the year. He represents the tying run here for the Marlins. They stand as one at Petco Park in San Diego. Fouled off for strike one. .353 average for Realmuto. It's a good hitting Marlins team. They were shut down for 7 innings tonight by Trevor Cahill. Realmuto will take a ball, and it is 1-1. Close pitch on the breaking ball from Hand.
See Austin go out there and try to get it. I'll tell you what, that's a good pitch. I don't know where that one missed.
In the dirt, and it's 2-1. Realmuto had a base hit back in the second inning, a single to right. Ichiro with a pinch hit double. Stands at second base with 2 outs in the ninth inning after the 2-run home run by Giancarlo Stanton. Marlins making some noise in the ninth, but Hand trying to end it right here. Strike two.
Sticking with the breaking ball.
The 2-2 pitch. In the dirt, and a full count now. Not tantalizing enough for Realmuto to chase it. Nice block by Hedges. Padres trying to win their 3rd game in a row, and game 1 of this 3-game series against the Miami Marlins. .3-2 pitch. On the ground left side. Ibar at shortstop. The throw is there, and the Padres win. Brad Hand comes in and is able to shut the door on the Marlins here in the ninth inning, and the Padres have won 3 in a row. Mike Pomerantz, what's in store?
Coming up on the post-game show, guys, we're going to break down what was a special night for a lot of guys. Trevor Cahill, also Austin Hedges homering 2 nights in a row, and Brad Hand continues to shut the door. We'll see you next on the post-game show.